Greetings to all God's messengers. Through Christ we unite. You already know who it is. Like, share, and subscribe if you're feeling the royal vibe. So, God still loves whores. And I wrote this a little while back. And I put it on my mirror because it was just so funny to me because it's true. Um, So let me know in the comments below if you resonate with this message as well. But I wanted to share Philippians 4:13. I can do all things. I can do all this by the power of Christ. He gives me strength. And that is true. And I had shared this post on my Facebook, and that was my scripture reference. And it said, if you only remember one thing in life, remember this: God still loves whores. Because there's just a lot of judgment, and that's what's going on. Like in this energy, like in this time, it's almost like it's always been this battle of like religion and spirituality, and the reason why more people are veering away from religion into spirituality because spirituality is more accepting of who that person is becoming. Evolution is something, that's important, but God judges you on your spirit, on your soul. Um, and I feel like that's what a lot of people forget because they're too busy trying to be God. Okay. And so, yeah. If that wasn't confirmation, I don't know what is. Okay. So I just have some notes that I had written down, and forgive me if they're everywhere because I literally was just channeling this message, and I feel like there's something going on where you could possibly be having or hearing these conversations. I'm sorry, let me try to turn my notifications off, but turn them down. But basically, these conversations are being had um, by people in regards to, oh, she did this, she used to do that in the past. And when you hear these conversations, you should tell them, yeah, but don't you know Jesus has forgiven them? Like, basically, if somebody's like, for example, somebody's like, oh, yeah, I heard she used to do this, or when I used to hang out with him, he used to do that, or she used to do this, or he used to do that. Be like, yeah, but don't you know Jesus has forgiven them, right? God forgives them, and watch what they do, because the whole purpose is trying to downgrade or judge and defame that person's name, when especially when they're not there, when they're not present. I promise you. And when I wrote that, I was like, I wonder what somebody would say and be like, don't you know God has forgiven them? So why do you keep bringing that up? Especially when they weren't the ones affected in whatever this person has done. Maybe they need to for some forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they need to, if you did do something directly to someone, they need to forgive and let go, or you need to forgive and let go. Okay, so that could be significant in somebody's reality at this time. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between intended sabotage and perceived. Okay, so I wrote the word what, and you know what? I need to look this up because I was like, I don't even use this word culpability. Culpability. Let's look this up real quick. Responsibility for a fault or wrong, blame. So someone could be like needing to take responsibility for some wrongs, or they could be blaming each other. Culpability. I have to make sure I was saying it right because, I'm country. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, it says the legal responsibility for a criminal act and individuals blameworthiness, the quality of being culpable or responsible for criminal acts or something like that, culpability, fault or wrong, or blaming others, like, oh, it's their fault. So that could be going on too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, if you're doing something, ain't no reason to be pointing the finger. It's all about taking accountability. So basically, culpability to me is accountability, you know? Being responsible for wrongdoings or a failure or the quality or the state of something. You know what I'm saying? So look, it's like you could have people like, oh, your quality of work is high end or luxury. And the reason why someone else's work may not be high end or considered luxury is because, they may not be taking the right actions, or the responsibilities of that individual is maybe imbalanced. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, it's their fault. It's their fault. So this could be anything in life. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not where you need to be, it's because you need to actually do the work, the mental, the spiritual, and the physical work to get there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my body is not exactly how it is because I'm not being how I want it to be because I'm not being as disciplined. Or hey, I'm satisfied with exactly how my body looks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all. Don't worry, I'm gonna get it into this title, but I gotta make sure that I read these notes. But basically, my scripture reference for this God still loves whores is from the book of Joshua, from Rahab helps the spies, when Rahab helps the spies and leads the king of Jericho's men off the tracks of the Israelites. And and also from the book of John, when Jesus said, he who is without sin needs to cast the first stone, and not even him and not even Jesus could throw a stone at the woman. You know what I'm saying? Who they were calling, a whore, adulterer. And that is still a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's important to keep your morals, keep your integrity, especially if you're married. Especially if you're married. Okay, it's just the rules are apply way more. Okay, because you took a vow to God on the whole Bible. Okay. Regardless if it was real or not, like, don't be playing with God, okay? So, yeah, y'all, moving on. So, that could be significant. Be okay with having feelings is what I wrote. Because it's important. Feeling like you're always overreacting can cause more damage than you think. So be okay with having feelings. And I had to realize that about myself too, because sometimes when I feel a certain way, it's okay, regardless if that was someone's intention or not. That's just how I felt. And I had to learn how to be okay with that, because I dealt with a lot of narcissistic people who made me feel like I was wrong for having feelings. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being dramatic. I'm a human. And humans have feelings just like you have feelings if I was to reverse the role. You know what I'm saying? So that could be going on as well. Y'all make sure y'all like this live, okay? You've been waiting for me to go live this whole time. Push that like button. You know what I'm saying? All right. So also I wrote down, every time I feel like people should treat me the way I would treat them, I end up disappointed because people aren't like you. You're unique. You had to learn to accept and understand that everything needs time. Distance and separation from toxic situations are necessary to assess the root problems. It's not them, it's you. It's your root. What is the real root of what's really going on? That's where the word I wrote, culpability, the responsible, the blame. You know what I'm saying? You cannot blame other people for how they treat you. You can only blame yourself period. How you allow them to treat you. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be able to treat you any type of way. They only can treat you the way that you allow. Thank you. People can only treat you the way that you allow them to treat you at the end of the day. Okay? Learning to detach, we realize the control we need to feel over other people's healing. You know what I'm saying? The lack of emotional expression. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I wrote when I wrote these notes, when you learn to detach, you realize the control we need to feel over other people's healing, like their ability, their lack, or their inability, I'm sorry, of emotional expression, their addictions, their sins, etc. Okay, this goes all the way up to ministry, to being a preacher or a prophet or a prophetess or a pastor, a minister, a reverend, whatever you call yourself, okay, or you label yourself as a leader, a counselor, a therapist. Um, it does not matter. A mother, a brother, a sister, a cousin, an uncle, you know, a grandfather, etc. We can't control people's healing. Only God can do that. No one sin outweighs another. That's why it's important not to judge. God will send his shepherds to many pastures to gather his sheep and awaken them to who they're meant to be. That's God's job. Let God do God's job. I realized I went to a spirit. Oh, you guys. So, this is deep. This is deep. Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all this is exactly what happened to me. And I wrote this down and I didn't even know how to take it. And I wasn't really going to put this on here. I think I might actually separate this part of my notes and use it. I don't know. Because this is basically, this part of the notes is basically me battling between religion and spirituality, and how Jesus has really been opening my eyes to so many things, that it's not about what the pastor preaches, it's about what Christ teaches. And that lesson can only come from him. Like, it can only come from him. And I'm just like, so who do a lot of these people out here think that they are, when they too come from the same wicked flesh, trying to mimic the perfection of the one and only Son? And this is why I battle with religion and spirituality, just because of the judgment. There's so much judgment, because I have nothing against homosexuality. It just physiology oh my gosh, I can't even talk. I just have nothing to, I don't know why I can't say this word right now. No. Y'all know what I mean though. Physiology. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I can't. It just ruined the whole flow. But physiologically, it just makes no sense to me, And I love people, I love, you know, um the energy. I love the support. I love people for who they are. I don't care what they do, you know? I'm not going to sit up here and call him a demon. I'm not going to sit up there and call people, homosexuality people demon. And I'm not going to say that I haven't experienced the same sex situation. Okay. A few times, maybe like 3 times in my life. So that's why I can't sit up here and be like this, that, and the third, because I don't know. That's God's job. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been battling. You know what I'm saying? Just certain things, like it's not your responsibility, because my dad actually shared a story with me that he was teasing a homosexual man, calling him names and like all types of stuff. And he was choking, and the only person who cared enough to rush to his aid and turn him to his side, basically saving his life, was the same man he was judging. And he ended up apologizing to that man. He told me he ended up apologizing to that man, and he was like, dude, I ain't gonna never say anything bad else about you. You know what I'm saying? Because the same person that you judge and you talk down on is the same person that's gonna bring you up, or could possibly save your life, or could possibly put you in a higher position in life. So that's why it's very important to not treat people like crap and think that you're not going to receive like karma, or you know what I'm saying, God is not going to put that person above you, and basically that person, you're going to be working for that person in the end. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to be on that person's good side in the end. You know what I'm saying? So basically, make sure that you know that God is always watching you. You're never getting away with anything just because you feel like no one's around. If you don't care, then you just don't care. But either way it goes, it's still going to go in God's favor. So that's the thing there. I bring that up because I feel like, religion is full of judgment. Doesn't matter how people choose to live their life, as long as their heart is genuine. The same person you mistreat is the same person you'll need. And that's reminding me of that Tyler Perry story, because she was like, I keep hearing that, same people you mistreated is your everything now. Ain't it funny how life goes around? Yep, and that's exactly what's going to happen. The same people that you mistreated, God is going to make sure you need them. Guaranteed. And so just know, and you know what, another thing about this thing, I was thinking about this too, like when it comes to like men, they always quick to like, especially on Facebook, like I've just been unfollowing, unfriending all types of people, like especially when they start disrespecting women. Like you have a mother and you just constantly disrespecting women 24/7, and it's annoying. And they're calling women whores and sluts and all types of names, anything but a child of God, when like as if they're not whores and sluts too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it just doesn't make any sense how men think that it's so like we want somebody who's used. Like no. No, if it's how can you sit up there and judge this woman for being easy? I want a man to make it hard. Like you giving it up to me quick. I'm looking at you just in the same eyes that you're looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ever think that it's one-sided. And then men be thinking that they're not being used, but you're being used. Like, the ego is a mug. It'll have you feeling like you're so high up there. And then when you turn around years later, you look dried out. You look used. Okay? And it's just like the quality is very low. It's like, men need to have the same respect for their bodies as much as women do. It doesn't matter if you can't bear children. You know what I'm saying? You can bear burdens. So that's the thing. When it comes to God still loving whores. So no matter how much people are talking about you, whether you do what you do until you evolve into something better, God still loves you. So whenever people are gossiping, talking crap, gang stalking, whatever they got to do, just know that God still loves you and you're going to get the last laugh. So just keep on laughing. And, God wants you to know the weight of saving the world needs to be released from your shoulders. Okay? You have a self journey. It's always been about you. Okay? People see the light, but they have learned to fear the light because they doubt the light can keep them safe due to all the trauma they've experienced. God can't control people. He can only give us choices. Don't blame God, okay? And that comes back to that word culpability. Don't blame God for the actions of others because he had no parts of their decisions. He did his best to bring them better alternatives. But God's focus is on those who focus on him. You've seen how the child who does everything you ask feels about all the attention you give to the one who is defiant. All right, so that could be significant as well. I also wrote down deal with people that judge you by what they see and not what they've heard. All right. And also, learn sleep. Money ain't going nowhere. God also wanted to remind us the other night. I got on my knees and I thank God for all these blessings and all these lessons. And I wrote down, remember when you used to get on your knees and pray. You getting on your knees for everything else. Get on your knees and pray. God loves that. That's like a form of respect, a form of surrender. Also, I wrote down, I think they're mad because they won't hear us. They're too afraid. Okay, this is in regards to channeling. People might feel jealous, they might feel some type of fear or even judgment, just to the fact that you have a lot of spiritual, or when you pray and you talk to God, God actually talks back. And that goes back to people who are more logical. They have a more scientific way of thinking. They don't believe that God answers prayers or God talks to you. They think that that is crazy or that is some type of mental schizophrenic type of disorder. They got all types of books on it. If you tell any type of professional something like this, and it's crazy because they get in these fields and they do these diagnoses, but then they still go to church, which is totally backwards. But hey, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, y'all. I'm gonna have to share this testimonial though about what really happened to me when it came to divination too. Now, I will not be going back to tarot or anything like that. I just want to make this known because something I had to retrack my steps and I had to really realize what could have happened. Why did that suicidal moment happen? And ever since I've been doing tarot, I've been feeling it's like the crazy part about it is if I would have never got introduced to tarot, I probably still would have been lost. Like lost, like just the whole spiritual journey. But I feel like God took me through that spiritual journey just to bring me back to Christ. You know what I'm saying? To open me up to my spiritual gifts, but without the idolatry, because no way in my mind can a crystal or a candle protect me or save me. But it did back in the day with all this return to sender and all this type of stuff, right? So I went to this spiritual shop and it was like this cock. I didn't even know they had stuff like this here until like I started, you know what I'm saying, doing tarot. And then there was this shop in the town that I live in. And it wasn't the one that I was doing business in. Like I was actually gonna have a room and actually open up my own um and sell my products out of this shop. It wasn't that shop. It was a different shop. It's like some older Caucasian ladies. And I felt like some weird negative energy when I went in there, but I was like, people, there's light and dark, and people, you know what I'm saying? They have good spirits and bad spirits. What can you really do? I just felt it, right? And so I had bought like some Palo Santo from there because I like Palo Santo instead of stage. I always did. But if I had it, I would use it, right? And so there was like this green and black candles like return to sender. And since I was already feeling like these negative energies, I was like, let me get this and see what everybody is talking about with this return to sender. So I lit this candle, right? It was a black and green candle, and this is what happened. But you know what? The crazy part about it is now that I think about it, I was like, I did buy this candle out this sketchy ass shop, right? And so when that suicidal moment came over, it let me know I had an epiphany, and God finally let me know that I don't know why somebody would want me dead, but that's basically what I got from it. Like that's someone didn't want me channeling these messages because people don't like the truth to be exposed. And I feel like, you know, these type of things aren't to be played with. This ain't no game. And you know what I'm saying? I know a lot, I can channel a lot, and then just it's almost like because I've been watching Snowfall lately. I don't know if y'all seen that show. It's on Hulu, right? But it's basically like the CIA or something like that. Like I shouldn't even be saying stuff like that, but because I don't want my video to be getting flagged and stuff just by saying certain keywords and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like if you expose too much truth, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they'll come after your ass. And that's just what it is. And I'm not scared, but I was just like, I'm just gonna close those doors because until I get more information, we're just gonna leave that alone. Because it's just not my focus. And then you get so lost in that, you get paranoid, and it's just not a game that I want to play. I'll leave that for them. You know what I'm saying? I still understand the ability to master your mind. I still believe 100% in prayer and meditation in that combination. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still open-minded spiritually, but as far as um using any other tools besides the one that God has anointed me with and believing in just that, that's we were made in God's image, and that's the reason why, you know? And that took me a minute to figure out what it is. So I was just like, right now it's just time for you to focus and don't be afraid to still love. Of course, focus on your goals, focus on what you need to focus on, but don't forget that you're not alone. You're not in this journey by yourself, even though it feels like that, just use your discernment. Um, I'm not going to say it's always going to be easy because there are going to be people who are going to trigger you. I got some more content coming and things of that nature, y'all. So y'all be ready. But I do still believe in channeling, speaking to God and God speaking through you because preachers do it all the time. They just don't use tools. They use straight channel. And that's what we need to get more confidence in, get more confidence in God and not the cards because we can still get these messages, and that's just like it's almost like cheating God, cheating the experience. Like But then at the same time, it's like I don't know how to explain it, because this is what I've been battling with religion and spirituality, because I don't see a bad or a good in any of it besides the spirit or the intention. And since it's been since it's just blown up into, Sonny, I know you was not up with that tablet. Go to sleep now. Since it's turned into like basically parks and amusement, it's not really, it's just been abused. And I just feel like I've already shared this before too. Like, there's certain parts in the library, and there's certain things that are supposed to be known but not practiced, you know? So, use that information as you will. Look, and at the end of the day, if you're a whore, God still loves you even more. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.